I want to sing that in the background when you're talking.
Welcome to Will Depress for Laughs. Today, we're going to talk about things that depress us. Jesus. Right. Do not click away, please. It's going to be great. Alright, go ahead.
Welcome to Will Podcast for Depression. I mean laughs with
V.
Ian.
And Snickers.
And Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry. Today is Thinking Thursday, so today we're talking about stress, because earlier this week we gave you guys the 10 ways to deal with it. So we thought it'd be interesting to divulge into what is stress, and by no means are we trying to bum you out, but there are people out there, this is a real thing. People deal with stress and anxiety on a daily basis, and actually when I first got into comedy, what was one of the most common things that a lot of comedians would talk about is that the funniest people are usually the saddest people, and they deal with like a lot of real problems, and that's why we get confused when, you know, we hear about these terrible things in the news and these celebrities that end up taking their lives and doing these crazy things. You're like, well, I thought you were so happy. I thought you had like a great life. So not to bum anybody out, but we do think, you know, when we started this podcast, we wanted to not just have fun, but also inform, enlighten, and inspire. So I think it'd be really cool for us to divulge into this today. And then, of course, we'll try and make it as lighthearted as possible. So, guys, what do you know about stress? Like, when you think of stress, what comes to your mind? Like, first thing.
You ever seen the movie The Babadook?
No. But it sounds like a crazy, like, snake.
Okay, so there's a movie called The Babadook. And it involves just, like, little children's story.
Okay.
Where basically this creature, if you read the story, it, like, comes to your house. Oh, great. The film itself is more...
like a boogie monster.
No, the film itself is more her, the mother, dealing with the depression of the fact that her husband died in a car crash on the way to the hospital to deliver their child. And so now she raises her child, who's got some freaking messed up, like, discipline issues. Okay. And she just can't handle it. But, if anything, this manifests itself as the Babadook.
Okay. So, and that's kind of your version of stress?
Well, there's a scene where, like, the Babadook, like, is trying to take the breath from her. And I feel like
I have seen this.
And, like, there's that feeling, that feeling to me, when, like, I'm having an anxiety attack, that's what I feel like. I feel like it's just like my breath's been taken from me. Like, I'm just panicking. I'm just a panicked state. Because if anything, I worry that, like, my family's got heart disease in its family, in my lineage. So if anything, it's like, oh God, my heart's rushing, my breathing is all just everywhere. So it's like, oh God, like, it's like, is this the end? I don't want to go out early. I still have stuff to do and this, that, and if anything, the anxiety attack, what ends up causing it, is made worse. Yeah. By the fact that the anxiety attack is now making my body go, oh God, we're dying. And obviously, still very much alive.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's interesting. Like, I feel like when people think about stress, they think, like, it's a taboo thing. You can't tell people you're stressed. Like, you can't talk about it. And you shouldn't be stressed. Like, don't be stressed. You're blessed. Like, that whole... But it's interesting because I'm actually looking at this article right here. And this is an article, stress.org, which is interesting. And it literally says, stress isn't necessarily a bad thing. It says it's a physical response. The body thinks it's under attack, and it switches to a fight or flight mode, which causes a complex mix of hormones and chemicals, and such as adrenaline. So I think that's really interesting, because I do think that people think, like, oh, well, only the people who are depressed or only the people that don't function are stressed. But no, some people just get into go mode. Yeah.
I mean, it's just people just can work past it, you know, and keep going, despite the fact that they're incredibly stressed.
Which would be those people we're talking about who are in the limelight, where they're working, and then when they finally have a minute to sit down and really think about the stuff going on in their life, it's like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. Yeah. You know? So
I get that, yeah.
And that goes back to what we were talking about on Tuesday, like, you have to manage it. Like, First of all, let's just go on record and say everybody is stressed at some point. Yes. Like, there's nobody who's like, unless you're Buddha, you're not living in this, like, everything perfectly is great.
Zen world.
Right. Yeah, no. And so acknowledge it, especially if there's people out there like younger, like even our age, like I think we live in a society where it's like, oh, well, if you don't have a house and 2.5 kids and a husband and bills and mortgage, you're not stressed. You don't have a reason to be stressed.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I think it's more stressful being like a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out your life and then trying to go to school and then trying to lie to your parents about where you're going on the weekends and trying to keep all of your... Like, there's a lot of stuff going on in all stages of life. So, manage it, deal with it, face it, head on, you know? And then that way you don't have to worry about it so much later on. I have another article here from Online Psychology talking about different kinds of stress. So you guys know there was different kinds of stress. Mm-hmm. So there's physical stress. Okay, it says physical stress is like travel. So traveling frequently can send you into different time zones, which cause sleeping difficulties. So that's like physical stress. Emotional stress, pretty obvious. This happens with a breakup, divorce, loss of a loved one, those sort of things. Traumatic stress. So traumatic stress would be like...
From a traumatic event of some sort.
Yeah, like if you say you were in a bad accident or someone you love is in a coma or, something that hopefully you don't ever have to deal with happens. Yeah. And then there's acute versus chronic stress. This is one I'm not familiar with. Do you guys know anything about this? It says chronic stress refers to an extended type of stress that impacts people every day of the year and can last for years or even decades.
Oh, that's like actual that's like chronic depression. So like there's like situational depression, which means that you're only depressed because of a certain specific thing that's causing you to be depressed. And then there's chronic depression, which means you're just depressed because you're depressed and you can't help it. It's your brain chemicals making you depressed. And I would assume that that's the same thing with chronic stress. You can't help being stressed. Your body and your mind is just making you stressed despite the fact that nothing is causing it directly.
So that's like the people who deal with it day to day.
Yeah, people who are always dealing with it. Generalized anxiety disorder would be another example of stuff like that.
This is what at one point, I still think I may have something like this, but I always thought I had generalized anxiety disorder, which according to this, it's a condition that has symptoms similar to a panic disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and other types of anxiety. The symptoms include constant worry, restlessness, and trouble of concentration. Yeah. Now, obviously, no trouble of concentration because we deliver a podcast every day, 5 days a week. But
most of the stress in my life doesn't come from like work and stuff like that in school. I put a lot of effort into making my work and school life as like low stress as possible for me, like low impact. I try to work from home, stuff like that, but I do deal with a lot of family stress. My dad's not always been the healthiest, and I spend a lot of my time taking care of him and helping him out with stuff. He's also he's disabled. He can't do a lot of get around a lot of places by himself, like walking through the store and stuff. So I'm always shopping for him and helping him out with stuff like that. And then my girlfriend's dad has been really sickly, so I deal with stuff like that too. And it's a lot of family stress.
Yeah,
I get a lot of. I'm always helping the people in my life.
Yeah. And I totally understand that. Yeah.
It builds up. But,
and I think that's the case for a lot of people. Like I was in my sociology class, we were talking about how there's this period of time where you go from being the one who was cared for to now you're being the one taken care of, and you get stretched on both ends. So like we're approaching that season of our lives where we're going to start having families and kids, and you have your kids to think about, but then your parents are getting older. So you have your parents to think about. And so you're being pulled up both ends because you're taking care of everybody else. And I think that's one of the things that, again, if anyone out there is listening that is like, well, you don't understand, like, I just have to. You don't. Like, it's not to say that you want to let, like, your family suffer. Like, trust me, I have a huge family. I have 7 people in my family. Just in my immediate family. There's 17 of us between, like, just kids and grandkids and stuff. So there's always a problem. Yeah. And I get a call probably every day about something going on in the family. Yeah. And there's a way to, like, leave it there. Like, one of the best things I was taught was by one of my old bosses, one of my favorite people ever. He used to tell me in regards to work, he'd say, when you come to work, you leave your personal life at the door. And when you leave work, you leave your work life at the door. And you have to learn how to separate the two or you can't function.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think the same goes for, like, family stressors, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I know you have your beautiful girlfriend, Natalie. So, like, when you're with her, that's the problem with stress. We carry it with us like little bricks in our little backpack, and we go into the next place, and we just like you know.
Got to learn to kind of let go of it. I just do my best to avoid thinking about the stress.
Right, which is what you can't. It's all you can do.
Just think positively. Think like, okay, instead of thinking, I'm going to get upset about this, I'm going to be like, okay, what do I need to do next to improve this situation?
Right.
And if you think like that, even though you are stressed and you're aware that you're stressed, you can still be,
right,
sane.
That's like saying like for school, for example, if okay, I have a test on Friday.
Yeah.
You can either ruin Monday through Thursday, being like I have a test, or you could turn around and be like, okay, well, today's Monday. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to focus on Monday. And then you focus on Monday, and you go to the next day, and you go to the next day. So, but go ahead.
Well, just what you had said a couple of minutes ago reminded me of an article I wrote when I was a student for Coyote Student News.
Ooh.
And it was an article on academic burnout. Mm-hmm. And a couple of these,
read that one.
A couple of the quotes that I have in here that are I think are worth noting. Mm-hmm. So Marissa Morgan. She is a fellow student ambassador at the College of Southern Nevada, and she was talking about having a good support group in your corner to encourage you and keep you focused on your goals. Mm-hmm. But Anthony Herrera, he was a recruiter. He works at a different college now, but he says don't be afraid to say no. You don't have to feel bad saying no.
Yes.
Prioritize your time, do what is needed, and eventually have time for everything else.
Yeah, I guys ever seen that the movie, The Yes Man?
Yeah.
Yes, love that movie.
I freaking love that movie. But it's kind of like that in reverse. Like, I'm the first person to say, like, I'm not good at this. Like, I one time bought perfume from a guy at a gas station out of the trunk of his car. Like,
why?
Because I couldn't say no. Like, I'm like a kiosk worker's dream. I will say yes to anything. I could have 800 boxes. I could be carrying lotion. And they'd be like, do you need lotion? I'm like, yes. And I just take it. So that's just like small examples, but in my personal life too, like I've had to learn how to be like, no. Mm-hmm. But you also can't. That's a fine line because you can't take it too far and be selfish and be like, no, I don't care about anybody, and I'm not gonna help anybody.
Yeah, I got a small family, so when someone needs help, there's only like me and like my sister, and my sister's not 18 and has her own problems, so it's like. I when there's something going on in my family, especially like with my dad or my mom, it's just me,
Yeah.
to help deal with it.
What has been one of like the most stressful things you guys have had to deal with this year?
This year.
Oh my God! I mean, everything. Like when it comes to like me and my wife, for getting her in, through the immigration services.
My girlfriend broke both her ankles.
Oh God!
Well, she actually
this year
she actually sprained one severely and broke the other one at the same time.
God.
She was unable to walk, and she was pretty much unable to walk for about 2 months. I had to take care of her and all that, and help her out, and I took her to school, and while we were interning and all that. I was also taking her to UNLV and wheeling her around the school in a wheelchair because she couldn't walk.
Yeah, I felt bad for you. I had heard about that. I was just like, God.
I had brought her with me before, and I know Andy met her and all that, and then all the stuff going on with her dad, that's been pretty stressful. But I haven't been dealing with that, directly myself. That's actually more on them. But I'm helping them, as much as I can with that situation. Mm-hmm. And just kind of getting by lately. It's just been, But, I mean, some parts of my life are very, very laid back and stress-free. And then some parts of my life are very high activity, high stress. I'm always running errands and doing things. But then my nights are just like... laying around. I don't do anything, I just like watch TV and maybe do some work on the computer or something, but during the day it's like go until I stop, and then
I will say something that does help when you're stressed is the idea, the feeling that it's gonna come to an end.
Yeah.
And it's gonna pay off, because like I said, I'm constantly going. Like right now, just thinking about it, I'm like welcome to the Will Depress for last episode. Because it's like my God, will you just take a second to just look at what's going on in your life? It's just like, oh,
there's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, but the good thing is yes, it's a couple more years to go, but it's just like it's gonna pay off.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to a point. Things are culminating this year. I'm going to graduate in May with 2 degrees.
Yes!
And in a month, we're going to have our interview with USCIS. And it's just like, things are happening.
You have to find joy in the journey. Because there will going to be seasons, like there was a season in my life where I was working literally, like when I was on the cruise ship, that was a very hard time for me. We talked about, we're going to talk about that eventually. But there were days where I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. And then also on the mission trip, that was another time in my life where I was like, I can't do this. And you have to find like the little tiny thing, like even if it's just like the smallest thing, like right now with all the stuff that I've got going on, my thing is that like I get to spend time with someone who's just a really, really cool, important person to me. Like I love spending time with Devin. Devin and I make it a point to not talk about all of the crazy bad stuff going on. Like especially because our schedules are so strenuous and we only see each other very few. So like the other day I talked to him for like 2 minutes on my break. And it was like, quick, give me the highlights, give me the best swings. And like that's it. You can just focus on like the little good things. And I think that's important for people to know because I think sometimes we think, okay, well one day I'll be out of this and into that. And first of all, don't know if that will really happen, not to be more depressing, but you shouldn't focus on like the what will come.
Should I whip out the CDC statistic?
No, don't whip that out. But you should focus on like the stuff that's going on now that you can be grateful for. Like
just to put it in perspective for reality.
Like one of the things that this is truthful, so you can ask my parents. When I first got back from the mission trip, I used to just be so grateful for a fan. Just a fan.
That makes sense, yeah.
Just like air that was blowing on my face. That wasn't like 100-degree air. Or like bathroom doors or bathrooms that were inside.
Yeah.
And not having bugs on me all the time. And all of a sudden you just see things differently. So I think there's stuff like that. Like if you're healthy, be grateful you're healthy. If you have a job, be grateful you have a job. If you're, and like those are the things. Like there's people out there who don't have those things. And then the people out there who maybe don't have a job or don't have good health. Like be grateful that you have a support system or be grateful that you have the means to, take care, get your health care you need. There's a way to look at everything through a positive lens. You just have to find that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I totally agree. We just take a step back and just look. No matter what life you have. Like for me, like yes, I wish I could have more money. I could be more comfortable. But at the same time, I have a wife. I have food on the table. I have jobs that I can go to. Yes. I wish I didn't have to work all hours of the day. But you know what? I'm not homeless.
That's right.
I'm not single.
That's right.
And so any of our homeless single people listening, don't take that the wrong way.
But you have a phone.
That's our demographic, so. Taylor. We really cater to those homeless single people. They really love us. I think too, like not to make it materialistic, but let's just say you really are in a bad spot.
Yeah.
You don't have a good job. You don't have a loved one. You don't have all these things, right? You have yourself. I know it sounds very cliche, but you've got your own personality. You get to make the most out of who you are everywhere you go. You get to have fun within what you want to have fun with. And so I think, like, don't make it about accomplishments. Make it about perspective.
If you want to live your life in the forest, living off the land.
Oh my gosh, it was dope!
That's good for you. I mean, more power to you for having the skills to survive out there and not get eaten by something. Like,
could you just imagine me living in a forest? Like, no.
If you don't want to work your entire life and live on the street, like,
I have no friends.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you could do anything. You don't have. Whatever works for you.
And that's not to say like there's not bad days. Like everybody needs a good cry every once in a while. You should like a good shower cry where you're like, "This is my life." You just
if anything, top 10
shower that would ruin my shower.
But top 10 stress relievers. Oh yeah, right there. Have you be able to talk somebody and just release?
Yeah,
it's incredible how much stress is pent up in you that as soon as you talk about it and you allow your body to just experience it, it's sort of like vomiting.
Yes.
A good cry is like vomiting.
A good vomit.
You feel ill, you feel, oh god. And then, you've had like 12 beers, you've had 3 pizzas, your body's just like, why would you do this to me? And you just into the toilet. It feels great.
Right.
Because it's just like it's finally out. And that's exactly what a good cry.
I don't think this is very healthy and I try to control it, but very similar to the same thing. I get a little angry sometimes when I get too stressed out. Like I don't normally get angry. I'm normally a very even-keeled type person. But sometimes when I'm a little overstressed, I get a little angry, especially when I'm driving. and when I hit all the red lights.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God! Like really, I swear to God.
Yeah, it's like
I punched the steering wheel so many times, just like I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I know.
And I know that's not healthy, so I try to control it, but sometimes I'll be like, sitting there driving, slamming the center console, like, God damn it.
Well, I always feel, maybe it's Toy Story that did it to me. It scarred me for life. But I always feel like it's like, even like when I throw a pillow, like I gotta grab it and apologize to it. It's like, it's not your fault. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to throw you.
I like to like punch the center console in the car, and then I'm like,
shit, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's like my truck. It's just like, you have gotten me everywhere for the last 7 years.
Yep.
I am sorry.
And we only crashed once, but that was my fault, I promise.
The car will know you better than anybody. My car has seen me cry. My car has seen me like just freak out on people. My car has also seen me like in victory. Like your car is your most safe space.
It's your most sacred spot in the world.
Well, guys, I know that maybe was a little different than what we usually do, but like we said, we think it's important to talk about this kind of stuff. And if you're someone out there who you're like, you know what, I'm overwhelmed. Like we were talking about, like talking about it helps. And lucky for you, I would love to be your friend. And then you can talk to me about it. But I'll be honest, I'm not going to let you sit and complain forever. Like, I'm one of those people where I'm like, okay, we're either shit on the pot or we get off of it. Like, that's how we're going to live our life. We're gonna process it and move on. Mm-hmm. You know? So, anyway, hope that helped. If you guys want to reach out and let us know, then something's going on, tell us. And for all of our regular listeners, keep spreading the word. We're still doing our giveaway.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're still doing it.
We're getting there.
Yeah. So once we reach 50 subscribers, we're going to do a giveaway. Everyone will be in the drawing. And make sure you check out all of our stuff. And you got to follow us on SoundCloud. That's where you got to follow us for the giveaway.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, and one last thought, and it's just a brief thought, is what's the one thing you always hear from families after like a fire? And it's like, oh, we lost all of our family photos and all of our consoles, but at least my family is safe.
Yeah, at least we're okay.
Yeah. And so, if anything, that's the ultimate where it's just like, if you have family, if you have friends, if you've got a community, that's what matters.
Right.
And if you don't, V will be your friend.
I'll be your friend. I'll totally be your friend. Tune in tomorrow because to keep with this theme, actually, we're going to talk with my friend Mary. She lives in New York City, and she actually studied many things, but she opened a business for acupuncture, which is one of the things that can help relieve stress as well.
Nice.
So she's going to talk to us about that and how that helps the body. So if you're interested in that, tune back in tomorrow, and she'll let us know how you start a business, because I don't know how to do that.
And don't worry, we're gonna bring back the laughs. We needed some reflection time.
Yeah, you know. I can whip out the CDC statistic and we can all laugh about that.
No,
do it.
Funny.
Let's laugh about it.
No, end it. You guys don't want to hear this.
110 million people a year die of causes directly related to stress, and that means it's roughly about 7 people every 2 seconds.
Oh man,
Great,
that
guys.
statistic. Oh.
Half those people are people that Ian's running into on the road. That's what half those people
Whoa.
are.
That's not funny.
Oh, that's not funny. Okay.
What, that I have severe road rage and I've killed 4 people now?
All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
And stay stress free, Branson.
Bye.